Last but not least, please do not forget to subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications so you never miss another video. Until next time, I'll see you then. Hey, que la que hay, mi gente? It's Rocky here from SpeakSpanishFaster.com. And in today's video, we're going to kind of piggyback off the last video, which I got great feedback from. So thank you guys so much for commenting. I think that video has been our most popular video in a long time, and it seems like you all really enjoyed it. It was the video I did breaking down some of Bad Bunny's lyrics. And the comments were full of people that loved it and they wanted more songs, more lyric breakdowns. And I felt like before I kind of do that, I wanted to do a quick video on really how to use music to learn Spanish, like how I believe the best way to use music to learn Spanish is. So that way, when I do these breakdowns, you'll know how to actually use the breakdowns to improve your Spanish. All right, so I've put some notes. I was thinking about this all yesterday. I have some notes down. I'm going to share my notes with you and pretty much break it down for you. Now, the reason I'm doing this video in English rather than Spanish is because I really want you to understand all the concepts of this video so that can really help you further your Spanish. All right, so let me share my screen with you. All right, so first, before we even kind of talk about how to, I think it's important to understand why listening to music in Spanish is good at helping you learn Spanish. All right, one of the biggest things is that it serves as active recall and spaced repetition. So spaced repetition is basically hearing the same words over a period of time. And this is really how we learn languages as humans. It's the everyday exposure to that language, to those words, is how we kind of store them in our brains. So if you just hear a word one time and never hear it again, your brain is going to filter that out as not being necessary. But if you hear a word over and over throughout not just one day, but a period of time, then your brain is going to save that word into your mind. So that is basically what spaced repetition is. It is listening to, being exposed to words over a period of time before you forget them. Okay, so listening to music, obviously listening to the same songs over and over improves your ability to remember the words and remember what they mean, because you have that context that comes next to the words. So it's not just about writing down vocabulary words, but you need to remember those words in the context that they're in, and that's going to help you actively recall those words. And that is what music does. Of course, it also helps you pronounce words better because you're mimicking a native speaker. Like, we all want to sound just like the native speaker when we're rapping, when we're mimicking, when we're singing. In order to do that, you have to master your pronunciation and even sometimes the intonation being used. So that's also going to help. That's also going to be improved through listening to music. Now, I do want to say that you shouldn't only focus on music here, because you do also need dialogue. So music is a great additional tool. It's a great tool to mix in to keep language learning fun, to keep learning Spanish fun, but it shouldn't be the only tool that you use, because sometimes a singer or a musician might say a word a certain way, that they say it like that to rhyme, and they might shift a sentence around to make it rhyme rather than actually being the proper way to say it. So you'll still be learning those words in context, but sometimes the sentence structure might be off a little just so that they can rhyme better. They might put, the beginning of a sentence at the end and switch it around so that it can rhyme so all the ends of the sentences or fragments can rhyme. So you still need to be listening to dialogue, whether that's listening to my videos in Spanish, whether it's listening to other videos in Spanish, whether it's listening to podcasts, watching shows on Netflix, interviews, anything. You still want that authentic dialogue when you're learning Spanish. So you don't just want to listen to music, because that's not going to really help you for it's not going to prepare you as well as you could be prepared. So a mixture of songs and active dialogue podcasts, that's going to give you the best results. All right. So just remember that. Don't only study music. Don't only use music as a tool to learn Spanish. Use all the resources that you have at your disposal on the computer, on the internet, through my channel, other people's channels, and use that to continue to improve. So now that we kind of know like why you should be using music, let's talk about how to actually learn music. So I'm going to pull up the lyrics that we used last week in the song. Definitely watch that video if you haven't yet. It was a fun video to make for me, and it seems like our subscribers and our audience really enjoyed it. So I think you'll definitely enjoy it if you haven't seen it yet. But basically, you can find any song lyrics on Google with a quick search, all right? So this is La Neverita, lyrics by Bad Bunny, and we broke down these lyrics last week. So again, refer to that video if you need. But how would I approach this? Let's say if I've never heard this song before, and I want to use this song to improve my Spanish, learn these vocabulary words, or learn these words and make them my own vocabulary words, how would I go about the process? So I have these little notes right here. Step one, what I recommend doing is just listen to the song. All right, maybe once, maybe twice. This is going to help you get a feel for the song. Before even looking at the lyrics, it's going to help you get a flow of the rhythm, how he speaks or how she speaks, how they sing. You just want to get familiar with the words. And of course, you want to pay attention to the words that you know and the words that you just can't recognize. All right. This is also a great way to test your progress in Spanish because over time, you'll be able to understand songs better without even seeing the lyrics. And of course, depending on the genre of music, it'll be easier than some others to understand. But when you take that category specifically, like, let's say if I take all the Bad Bunny songs specifically, over time, I should be able to understand his songs better if I study them. If he has a new song right off the bat, I should be able to understand that new song better just by studying in the past his previous songs. So over time, you're going to understand more of the songs that you listen to, even if it's just the first time listening. But don't get discouraged if you can't understand some of the songs, because I still listen to Bad Bunny this day, and sometimes I'm like, yo, what is he saying? Because again, we have characteristics, and I talked about it in that video I did with him, but there's some times where he's actually saying an English word just with a Spanish accent. There's some times where he's really chopping things up or really mumbling things. So it might be difficult to understand. In fact, like if you take a rapper in English, like Young Thug, I don't know if everybody knows him, but he's a rapper that like all my little cousins listen to and stuff. And my mom, her first language is English, and she literally can't understand Young Thug, and he's rapping in English. But because of how he's mumbling and singing, his style, she just can't we can be in the same car, and I'll put the music loud so she can hear, and she still won't be able to understand. She's like, what is he saying? So you deal with this, especially if you're dealing with like trap music, like from Bad Bunny and other, especially Puerto Rican artists. It's going to be difficult to maybe just even understand what they're saying, just putting the words together, just because they're not saying it clearly or whatever the case may be. But there are other forms of music that are easier to understand, like bachata, merengue, some of the more mainstream types of music. Like I'm sure there's like pop in Spanish and things like that, that they will speak much more clear and much more neutral. So it'll be easier to understand that type of music. All right. So listen, whatever song it is that you pick, listen to the song once, maybe twice. Then step two is we're going to decode the lyrics. So there's no music involved with this. You're simply going to read through the lyrics, go line by line, and see if you can tell what each line means. All right. Again, line by line. Basically the same thing I did in the Bad Bunny song. You're going to do that for whatever song that you're listening to. Now, of course, like I just mentioned, there will be some difficulties that you'll have if you're breaking down someone like Bad Bunny, you might have to do additional research. Like if you find a word that doesn't make sense, and you know the artist is like Bad Bunny from Puerto Rico, and you find a word like, let me see, like, okay, chamaquita, chamaquita. That's like a Puerto Rican word. They might use it in other countries, but I know we use it in Puerto Rico for like girl. Now, if you put that word into Google Translate, it might tell you what chamaquita means, and it might not. If it doesn't, or if it doesn't make sense, what I would do is type the word into Google, chamaquita, Puerto Rican Spanish, and maybe do a little more research, and you might be able to find what that word means. If your artist is from another country, like Spain or something, and there's a word that you don't know and that's not translated easily through the Google Translator or through SpanishDictionary.com, then you can kind of do the same thing and just put, that word / the country, or that word in Spain, like what does it mean? And a lot of times you'll be able to find a lot of those words because you're not the only one in the world that has had that question. Trust me, I'm sure there's other people that listen to these songs that want to know what some of these words mean. So that's step 2, is decoding the lyrics. Also, when you're decoding the song, don't forget to decode the title, translate the title. But a lot of times you're going to have to go through the entire song before you'll really understand what the title means. And the title kind of brings everything together. For example, for Bad Bunny's song, La Neverita, if you just see that, it means like the little refrigerator. Well, if you just looked at that and the song was called The Little Refrigerator, you will be like, what? That doesn't make sense. But then when you listen to the song, when you break down the song and you understand what he's saying, now it makes sense. Like now you know why he's using that title, and it kind of gives a whole theme. It brings everything together. All right. Now, once you have decoded the song, the next thing you do is you listen to the song while you read the lyrics in Spanish. Okay. So now this is where you listen to how he is saying every single word, and you'll hear his pronunciation, his intonation sometimes, and just his whole flow. After that, while you're kind of listening, you want to review some words again. So like, don't hesitate to pause and rewind if there's a word you're like, wait, did he say that word? Oh, that's how he said it. Because sometimes there'll be words that he puts together and it's going to be like, it didn't sound like he said that. You may have to rewind. This is the time to do that. Or if you're reading and you just instantly kind of forget, because of course you're not going to remember the whole decode immediately after. So if there's a part that you don't remember, it's okay to stop, look back at your notes. Okay, that's what that means, and rewind, go back through. Then after that, what I want you to do is listen to the song without reading. So now the song should sound completely different to you than the first time you listened, because now you should be able to pull out all the words he's saying and be able to understand what he's saying. So technically what we have done here is we have turned this piece of content from incomprehensible to comprehensible. And this ties into everything I teach here and that I've learned with learning languages. We all know the importance, well, many of us know the importance of comprehensible input. I talk about it all the time here. But being able to consume content that you can actually understand, that's going to help you learn Spanish. But this is a great example of how we can decode content and turn content into comprehensible input. Because I get that question all the time from people, well, what do I do if I don't understand what's being said? Especially when people watch my videos in Spanish and they're beginners. They're like, how am I going to learn Spanish? In your videos in Spanish, I can't understand anything. Well, the thing is, you have to take the time to decode that. And then over time, decoding will happen easier. You won't have to do as much to decode. It will happen natural. And yeah, that's when you're really going to start improving. So when you're done with all that, now it's all about really implementing spaced repetition. So for the first week, I would listen to the song every single day for that first week. All right, you can set a reminder in your calendar. Listen to Bad Bunny. If you commute every day to work, just play that song first thing in the car. Once you're a week in, the next week, start doing it weekly. All right, so listen to the song maybe every Monday. Okay, and then from there, once you go a whole month with that, Maybe listen to the song once a month, put it on a playlist, and you should have a playlist of all of these Spanish songs that you've been learning. So when you get in the car, you can kind of orchestrate this spaced repetition naturally of just songs that you've decoded and that you're currently learning, or that you've already learned and you're just recapping. And eventually, all these songs, you'll have them in your memory. You'll memorize the whole song. But not only that, you'll remember all the words to those songs, and you'll remember what those words mean. And that's a fun way to really learn Spanish. So now when I do future song breakdowns, you'll know exactly how to approach those breakdowns. I'm kind of there to help you decode it. That's my job, to make your life easier, because the decoding process is going to be the most difficult part. And then from there, you could take that song and start implementing it into your daily listening, then your weekly, then your monthly, and continuing to use music to learn Spanish. All right. So if you found this video helpful and you're really looking to take your Spanish to the next level, along with music, along with my videos, I also have a free guide where I'm going to show you my 3 biggest secrets to learn Spanish faster. Just click the link in the comments, speakspanishfaster.com/YouTube. And that's going to take you directly to that guide where I show you my 3 biggest secrets to learn Spanish faster. If you enjoyed the video, of course, do me a big favor, hit the thumbs up for me. That lets YouTube know that you liked it, and maybe they'll share it with more people because they'll assume that they'll like it too. If you need help with anything, again, you guys' comments make my life a lot easier because it gives me ideas and topics to do for these videos. Since I do so many videos, sometimes it's hard to come up with ideas. So I definitely need your help. Comment and let me know what are some, whether it's songs or other video ideas that you want to see, so I can bring you content that actually helps you. Like, that's really what I want to do. And last but not least, please do not forget to subscribe to the channel. Turn on notifications so you never miss another video. Until next time, I'll see you then.